TJ, the Wheel Deal coming at you live. It's going to be a short one today, but we're going to get into it, guys. Anyway, it is Friday, January the 3rd, 9:44 a.m. Central Time, Texas time. I know our boy Amit is still on, but I've got some things to do, and I've got some FaceTimes that I've got to knock out as well. So anyway, guys, the title is I got caught with my hand in the cookie jar on MSTX, and I asked Riot to help me out. So I essentially moved monies over from the MSTX debacle, moved it over to Riot because I know how to make money over there with Riot. I'm Team Riot, and the goal is 5 million for 2025. I got my Riot coin. I got the hat. I got this little thing that they gave us. They got the bracelet on. We got everything. Because I need Riot to perform to go get like $150,000 or whatever the heck I lost on MSTX. It was just crazy. Up like 95,000, then up like another 90,000, and things went south. The options chain went away. Apparently it's going to come back on Monday. That was not a chance that I was willing to take. I wasn't sure that was going to happen or not. So I just said, hey, I'm going to cut my losses because I can go get all of this premium back and then some on Riot. And then it would be nice to have like a tax harvest loss early because I'm always scrambling anyway for taxes, to try to figure out the tax thing, but you're never like trying to lose money on purpose. So I definitely wasn't trying to do that. So anyway, lessons learned there, stay in your lane. So that's what I learned on MSTX, to stay in my lane. I feel like the MicroStrategy thing, it almost was like a Ponzi to a certain extent. So Riot, I understand the underlying business. Is it a tough business? Yes. Is it a profitable business? Not really, not yet. But I think that they're working towards all of those things. Whereas with MicroStrategy, it's like, you're diluting to buy Bitcoin. And then they have the software business. But anyway, I'm just, at the end of the day, I'm Team Riot. I'm Team the miners. So I'm just going to stay in that lane and make money there. And I'm on a probationary period with not MicroStrategy, but with MSTX anyway. So I can't do anything over there because you lose the tax benefits as far as the write-off goes. So we'll talk about that. So anyway, guys, quote of the day. It has to do with grief. Give me a thumbs up if you guys, wow, Kelby, appreciate you. Give me a thumbs up if you guys saw my post on X whenever I visited my baby girl in the cemetery, because I know a lot of you guys reached out and stuff. And for those of y'all that don't know what I'm talking about, let me pull it up real quick. I try to go every like 2 or 3 times a year. I don't go often because it does, it wears me. It wears on me a little bit. And then I don't live in San Antonio, so it's just a little harder to go. So anyway, so I went to go visit at the cemetery. And my daughter was young, So anyway, for those of y'all that don't know, and we're not going to watch it, I'm not going to do that to you guys. For those of y'all that don't know, my daughter took her life September the 5th of 2019. So I made a post about that, and there's a reason that I became motivated. She's the main reason. Her and my son were the main reasons that I became motivated to transform myself into TJ the Wheel Deal. I was working in the oil field 87.5 hours a week, just devoting my time, like the oil field was my God, essentially, like devoting my time. It wasn't really available. It wasn't really present. So like, I'm going to go figure out how to get my money right. And I would say that to myself a lot. That's going to bring me to another story in a little bit. I know we're off on a little bit of a tangent. We're going to get on track. Give me a second. So I was like, I'm going to go figure out how to get my money right. Because if I could have been more present as a dad, maybe I could have had more of an impact on her life, more of an impact on my son's life. been a better dad, and maybe things could have turned out differently. I don't know. I don't know if things would have turned out differently, but at least I would have felt better about myself. And then now that things are better for me financially, I want to share what I've learned with people like you. So I was telling myself, I'm going to get my money right, and then I'm going to show people how to get their money right. And then I came across a company called Sofi, and their little motto was get their money right. So if y'all don't know why I'm invested so heavily in Sofi, it's because of their slogan. That's it. That's it. Cat's out of the bag. That's the only reason I have so many shares of Sofi is because of their slogan. A, B, I hate going to the bank. That's it. All the metrics, all this and that. I'm not data-driven investing. I think SoFi is kind of fairly valued. I don't know that it's that undervalued and all of those things. SoFi was just the right place, right time, right situation. And they had this slogan called "Get Your Money Right." I've been saying that to myself for some time, So I was just like, I'm going to get my money right. I'm going to get my money right. I'm going to get my money right. And then I came across SoFi. So I just started gobbling up shares. So that's how that happened. So anyway, guys, so I came across this quote here about grief because some of you guys might be, dealing with this kind of thing. Because we all do at some point in time, right? That's just a reality of it. You're going to lose some people along the way. Those are the we all deal with the vicissitudes of life. That's just unfortunately that's the reality of it. So let me see if I can share this screen here. And I feel rusty. You don't go live all the time like I had been. You get a little bit of rusty doing this thing. So anyway, this is a quote that I came by some time back, and I want to read it to you guys real quickly. Grief is like the ocean. It comes in waves, ebbing and flowing. Sometimes the water is calm, and sometimes it is overwhelming. All we can do is learn to swim. Vicky Harrison. So that is the quote that I would read over and over again. And then I came up with a formula. I came up with a formula on how to cope with grief and how to heal faster. So it was like the components to the formula were time, God, and healing. So it was just about more and less. So there was more God. It was going to require less time for healing. If there was less God, it was going to require more time for healing. So there was more God in my life, it was going to require less time for healing. If there was less God in my life, it was going to require more time for healing. So I chose to let go and let God be God because I couldn't understand it. I was never going to have adequate answers for why my daughter chose to take her life. Like there was never going to be anything that fully made sense to me. So I was like, this is going to end up killing me, so to speak. So I need to give this to God so that he can deal with it, so that I can continue to live my life, because that is going to be something that is never going to fully make sense to me. And I don't think it's meant to. I think there's some things that you're just not supposed to comprehend if that makes any sense. So I just gave it to him and I'm like, hey, I can't carry this cross. This one's yours, bud. I need to let God be God. And that's what I did. And that's how I was able to move on. And I didn't stay angry the rest of my life. Some people are like, I can't believe you can do that and all this other stuff. Man, hey, you got to do it the way you can do it. That was the only way that I could do it because it was killing me. So anyway, hopefully that can help some of you guys, because there's a lot of you that you walk around with burdens and you don't know how to let go. Well, the only way that you can let go is you got to let God be God. You try to do things and you can't change the outcome. I used to tell people all the time, if you could tell me what to do to bring her back, I would do it. I would gladly do it. But there's not a damn thing that I could do that's going to change the result. There's nothing that I can do to unscramble those eggs. So, they say like, don't cry over spilled milk, right? So there's nothing that I can do to unscramble those eggs. So I have to keep living. That's the best thing that I could do to honor her. So that's what I chose to do. So here we are. Anyway, let's get into it. So what's going on here with the portfolio? Finally, we got a little bit of a green day, thankfully, because my goodness, this has been a rough one. It's been a rough one, guys. We had about $100 billion leave the stock market the last couple of days of the year and into the money market funds. I think there's something like $6 trillion sitting on the sidelines right now. So essentially, that's risk off, right? And eventually, they're going to wait for an opportunity to go risk on. So that's something that we can look forward to. Appreciate all 630 of you guys that have seen the link on X, and the 77 of you that are rocking with me live here on YouTube. I know our boy Amit is still on, so I don't always, try to compete with him or anything of the sort. It's just that, they say you got to go find your own audience. So I'm finding my own audience, and I have stuff to do. I have stuff to do. So I got to get this done as well. So anyway, where should we start? I think we should start with MSTX. It's only fair, right? The problem with that is they erase a lot of the history here, which really sucks. So I'm going to see if I can type it in, and because they'll do it on the phone, and here it's just they're going to act like it never happened, which is really weird. Yeah. So let's see if it gives me anything else. Okay, so it gives us some. So on December the 30th, it just says that I bought some shares for 111, bought some more shares for 90, bought to close some puts, bought to close some puts, bought to close some more puts, more puts, and more puts. What it doesn't show is that we collected $475,000 or so in premiums, and then we gave all of that money back. So bottom line is lost about 150 grand on MSTX. And I don't even know where MSTX is trading right now. I didn't even look. So it's at 41 bucks. When I closed everything out yesterday, it was at like $40 and some change. Everything expired. It was a $65 strike price. Everything expired on 131. The break even was like 55 bucks. So there was a special dividend with MSTX of 14 bucks. So it immediately tanked by $14 after hours. That $14 was released from our collateral, so it didn't affect this. I talked to Bill White about it. It felt like we paid for that dividend, is kind of what it felt like as cash secured put collateral owners, if you will. But that is not what happened, because I was like, well, how did they get money for that dividend, right? So that is not what happened. So I was able to take a little comfort in that. So they did release that collateral. That went back into our buying power. But bottom line is did lose money on this trade overall. Do I think that it could have turned around? Yes. But then it turned into MSTX1. And then there was notifications that we're not going to be able to sell options on these things anymore. But then after I had already closed out my positions, they're like, oh, the option exchange is going to reset, and you will be able to sell options come Monday. But I already had MSTX1, so you had to take ownership of the shares first. And there's a lot of uncertainty. So I guess that's why they call it FUD, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to take the L. I'm going to take the L because there's this other ticker that I'm a lot more comfortable with in Riot. And I had already started building up the position even more. I had already gotten it up to 150,000 shares because I already saw that this position was kind of going south. So I was like, well, let me scoop up some shares. Let me scoop up some shares in anticipation. And that is exactly what I started doing. So this happened whenever I was in California. So it was right around here. I'm trying to get to it. So here, December the 30th, I'm sorry, I wasn't in California. It's whenever I was about to leave to San Antonio. I was like, let me buy 25,000 shares of Riot. And I had already sold 400 Cassie-Kurt puts because I already saw that this position wasn't going well. So I was like, let me just like allocate more funds to Riot. I thought I was going to lose about 100 grand, overshot that. I ended up losing more than that. And I'm like, okay, well, how much would it take to go make that money with Riot? So I was like, well, let me go buy that. We had 125,000 shares of Riot. So I'm like, let me juice that up to 150,000 shares of Riot. So I'm like, let me see if I can get $10 of capital appreciation on these 25,000 shares. So that'll help out quite a bit. And then let me win this trade over and over again. So that's, that's $21,000 there. So I'm like, if I can win that trade 5-6 times, that's 100 grand. So I could easily see a path to where that'll go away. But then I was like, well, let me go more than that. Let me go more than that. Let me stay in the space. Let me stay in the space and let me go with other miners as well that have some momentum as well. So I also bought some Clean Spark and some Marathon because I've been studying Clean Spark, and aside from the frivolous purchase of the jet, I think that they got a lot of things going on. So I built up this position of 20,000 shares. And I'm like, I think I can get a double over here. So I'm like, well, I think I can make $150,000, $200,000 over here. So that'll take the sting off. And then now I'm dealing with something that has like a legitimate business, where they mine Bitcoin, and I could sell. There's pretty juicy premiums over here. So I'm like, I think I'll be okay. And I'm staying in my lane. I'm a lot more comfortable with the miners than a leveraged play on MicroStrategy where they just dilute to buy Bitcoin, because I don't fully understand that concept over there. Where over here, I understand the concept a lot more. So I was like, well, let me build out this position over here and run a version of the covered strangle. And that's what I've done. I've got the 20,000 shares. I've got 10,000 of the shares for sale at $12.50, and I've got 400 Cassie-Kurt puts at $8 for $3.21. So that's what's going on with that one. And then I was like, well, let me also go with the big dog. Let me go with the biggest in the industry. Made a lot of money with them in the past. I'm not the biggest fan of Fred Thiel, so I know he'll never come on the channel. And I should probably go easier on this guy. I mean, he's a good CEO. He just didn't honor his word on like one thing, and I just like held his feet to the fire, which is just a little ridiculous on my part, because I don't know how many times I've said I'm going to take assignment and I don't. Things change in the market all the time, and I'm sure that's what happened with him. He just did what was best at the time, and I don't know why I just maybe overreacted. But nonetheless, I built out a position on Marathon, so I have 10,000 shares of Marathon, down a little bit on the shares. And I've got 5,000 of those shares for sale at 25, and I've got an agreement to buy another 20,000 shares at $20. So building a pretty substantial position on these, and I'm looking for a double, guys. I'm looking for a double on Marathon and Clean Spark. So I'm not long on Marathon and Clean Spark. I'm just looking for a swing trade. I'm looking for a double, and I'm like between the 25,000 shares that we recently accumulated on Riot, and then this nice swing trade going on with Clean Spark and Marathon, all since the time that I started this MSTX debacle. And also Enphase, another one that I had lost money with in the past. I was like, I'll more than make it up. So I bought 1,500 shares of Enphase, and I sold covered calls at $77, 110. And then I'm selling, and I sold 25 Cassie-Kurt puts at 69. So I'm running the covered strangle on Enphase. I'm like, I think there's $100,000 bill to be had here. I'll just do that over and over again. I'm like, I'll easily be back in the black here within the next 30 to 45 days. I think that I'll easily make the money that was lost on MSTX, and I'll feel a lot better about it because I'm no longer in that trade. So I learned a nice, valuable lesson, and I also have a nice little tax write-off that's already built in. So that's what's going on. Let me catch up with you guys. What's going on? Blonde Beard, what's going on? Sentido, what's going on? Larry Summers. Hey, if anybody wants to pop in real quickly, got a few minutes. There's the link right there if anybody would like to pop in. What's going on, Libro? Wasn't this Libro Anthony before? Or is that just me? What's going on, Slim? Hey, what's going on, SJ? What's going on, Giorgio? KLV, morning. Digital Blade, what's going on? Man, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Dude, Riot has this really cool vest. Dude, I'm gonna reach out to them. I'm gonna send them an email, and I want them to send me that vest. I mean, I can go get one made and put their logo and stuff, but it's more authentic if they send me that vest because I want to rock it during the winter time here in Texas. It's like a legit little cool vest, and it's got their emblem. So anyway, appreciate you guys. What is going on? We got a friend of the channel here, Mark Chairs. How are you, my man? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I'm doing excellent.
Awesome, brother. Talk to me. What's good?
Well, everything's up today. Sofi is doing good, acquiring some more. Palantir's okay. Some uranium stocks are doing good. Other than that, I'm just entering the new year, so I'm assessing my private and personal life and my stock market and getting all the pieces where I'm going to put them on the board and head into the new year and do what I did before, but only better.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So anyway, what stocks are you rocking with for the new year? The same ones as last year, or did you add anything new? So far?
No, just my uranium stocks, Uranium Energy Corporation, Next Gen Energy, and then I'm looking at about 2 or 3 more. Just doing my due diligence, haven't bought into anything. And then I just had a meeting with a buddy, and we talked stocks and caught up on our portfolios. So we'll see what goes on. I mean, when there'll be a lot of opportunities out there. So.
Yeah, I hear you.
How have you been? I haven't seen you in a while.
I'm well. I told my wife that I wanted to scale back from YouTube lives because I started this membership several months ago where I was going to be doing FaceTimes. Like if people would pay $10 a month, I do a FaceTime every 90 days with them. And then the people that were paying $25 a month, it's a FaceTime once a month. And then there's people that are paying $99 a month. It's a FaceTime once a week. So these FaceTimes start compounding pretty quickly because the membership's up to 300 people.
Oh, congratulations.
So it is keeping me pretty busy. And I feel like I'm like really building a community because as soon as their face pops up on the FaceTime, because most of them are on StreamYard, private StreamYards. Like as soon as I see them, I recognize them, and then like we're going on some of them like the 10th round of these FaceTimes. So it's like I'm already like invested in their story. You know what I mean? Like not just their portfolio, but in their story as people. And dude, it's the best thing that I could have ever done because it's like now I feel like I got like a virtual buddy. And then I'm like, I feel like I can meet some of these people down the road, and it's just it's pretty awesome, man. It's pretty awesome. I just feel like building a deeper connection with the community, and I want to grow it bigger. Right now, I've got limited times that I'm willing to do the FaceTimes, but I've talked to my wife, and we're going to open up more time slots because right now I capped it. I don't want to have any more members. But I think that I'm going to open up another maybe like another hour that I'm willing to do a day. So that's like, that would be like another 2 more FaceTimes potentially. And just kind of enjoy them. Like it doesn't even feel like work. And I mean, like I could talk shop all day anyway. And I
Sweet.
feel like I could
How's the book coming?
Huh?
How's the book coming?
Dude, real good. I'm doing another, I'm actually trying to knock it out this weekend, another Wheeler seminar.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do part 2 this weekend. It'll do a recap of part 1 and then do part 2 because I feel like I left a lot of meat and potatoes out on like how to handle situations. So I'll include like the whole micro strategy situation in there. Like and like when to cut your losses, because I feel like I could have gotten real stubborn with MSTX because I feel like I could like legit have manufactured the win, but it could have also turned into a $500,000 loss, if not more. So I'm like, so is the ego that important to me so that the audience can see me manufacture the win? Or is it better to have a manageable loss knowing that these other horses here could easily go get me that money right now because they were ripe for the taking at the moment? And I have something that's going to help me down the road with tax harvesting anyway. So it was just kind of like, dude, the writing was on the walls. Like, dude, Riot was like ready to run. Like, not so much from the charts and stuff, but they're all about to produce real good counts, right? Because they're all going to produce real good numbers. Bitcoin's real up, so the numbers are going to be real good when they do earnings and stuff. So I'm like, well, let me go scoop up more shares. Let me go do a massive swing trade on Clean Spark and Marathon. And then end phase, I feel like they've got maybe like 2 or 3 more quarters of in this area. They might even go to the 50s. So let me build a nice starter position. I might be able to scoop up 5 to 10,000 shares in the 50s, ride those bad boys up to 100. My goodness, dude.
Yeah.
So I was just, and then, dude, it's a legitimate business versus diluting to buy Bitcoin. You know what I mean? We could argue whether or not that's even a business. You know what I mean? So, whereas over here, we that's legitimately a business. So I was just like, okay, well, this is an opportunity to really shore up the portfolio, if that makes sense. And there's plenty of money on the sidelines. So I was really, really prepared for an opportunity. I had lost money on end phase before. So I was like, well, this is an opportunity for a little get back as well, but let me start small. Let me start small. That way it doesn't feel like revenge trading. So even if I only make 10 or 15,000, I'm okay with it. Like I didn't go crazy trying to go get all that money back on end phase either, because the last earnings call didn't really give me the warm and fuzzies. So let me see where we're at with end phase. So this is just kind of like a little barometer check, if you will. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly, but you know what I mean? Just kind of like where you check to see where the turkey's at. So yeah,
thermometer.
So a long answer to your question. I think I can have a finished product by March or April. My goal is actually for my son's birthday, April the 11th.
Great.
April the 11th. But I want to write it. So I want to use AI, right, to give me like the format, if you will. But then I wanted like I really want to put, and I feel like, I mean, it's my words anyway, right? I mean, I'm the one doing the Wheelers thing, but I want to like tell like certain stories and stuff to really personalize it, if that makes sense. And yeah, dude, I think it'll be good. I think it's going to come out good. And then here in the next 30 days or so, I'm going to announce the first Wheelers in person.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and it will be in Miami. It will be in Miami. And I'll announce the fee. So it's going to be free if you have a wrench. So it's going to be free for the Rent Squad, fully catered. And I'm going to have some gear for you guys, like shirts, hoodies, caps, all that stuff. Because I made a few $1,000s on the channel, so I want to give back to you guys. right? And then sign books and all that stuff for the rent squad. That way I can deliver to them and give them an awesome seminar in person, get to know everybody who's able to attend, and then have a reasonable fee for those that do not have rents to help me pay for it, because it's probably gonna cost me 10 or 15,000 bucks for the event, right?
Yep.
And then I want to hopefully do two of them, two or three of them throughout the course of the year, and then maybe four of them next year. So
Nice.
I'll practice the seminar on the members over the next few weeks or whatever, just to make sure I'm delivering accordingly, and then we really have the slides and stuff, because those slides really help keep me on track.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it'll be good, man. It'll be good. Hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let's help me out here, Mark. Help me out here. So this is where we've landed going into the new year. So this, I believe, is an equity. So I've got Sofi, Riot, Tesla, Amazon, PayPal, Hood, and now the miners, CleanSpark, Marathon, and Enphase. So ideally, CleanSpark and Marathon would not be there. And then because I feel like Riot, CleanSpark, I mean, that's just too much, you know what I mean? So you got to pick one of these, and I feel like Riot still has ultimately the best infrastructure. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's still the Super 7. What do you think about it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because right now, the way it stands, it's 9. Or if I could turn it into 10 and just leave it the way that it is there another one that you could recommend to turn it into 10? The reason I'm asking you is because the portfolio is driving me crazy right now because it's out of balance.
Well, my question on PayPal, what's your investment thesis on that? I know following your show, you would think it would double at least within a year or two because of the stock buybacks. Do you still believe that?
Yeah. So my exit price for PayPal is $125.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know that it's an investment more than it is a trade. Like when I got into this thing, I literally was like, I'm going to sell these shares at $125 if I don't take the time to learn more about the business. And right now, since I haven't taken the time to learn more about the business, and I know that there's like a PayPal monthly now Crossroads is doing. So I'm going to reach out to Roy to see if he'll have me as a guest on his channel to educate me more on PayPal, because he's been on my channel to talk about PayPal before. That's how I started the position. So I'll see if he can like help me turn it into from a trade to, because this is the biggest swing trade of my life. But I'm going to see if he can help graduate it into an investment. But as of yet, it's not as exciting of a business enough to turn it into an investment, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
But I do love the fact that they make money. I love the fact that they are buying back the float. So it feels like a very safe swing trade, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But there was some sketchy stuff going on with something called I can't even think of the name. Honeymoon
Honeywell or honey something.
Honey doo doo, honey boo boo.
Yeah, maybe honeydew or something.
Help me out in the chat, guys. What was it called? Honey something. Honeycomb, or is that cereal? Anyway, they did something sketchy there, but I think PayPal bought the company, and I'm not even sure, dude. That's the thing. I just know that the floor is like here and the ceiling's like here. So I like those. I like those trades. Oh, I guess it's just called honey. I like those trades, if you will, but I don't know enough about the business. Like I know, like, dude, again, I follow SoFi a lot more than people know. So like if you put Tanner in front of me, I can hold my own in a conversation. I might not know the metrics specifically like they do, but I know it more than generally, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know specifics because I don't think you need to know it specifically. You need to have a general grasp, because knowing it specifically ain't going to freaking change the stock price and whether or not you know how to make money with it. You know what I mean? But like, do you know generally if Galileo has a chance to add to the bottom line? Do you know generally if Technisys has a chance to add to the bottom line? Do you know generally if financial services has a way to add to the bottom line in lending and so on and so forth? And you know generally what kind of strain is credit card services causing to the bottom line? Because it is causing a strain right now. I think that not this year, but maybe next year, that strain goes away. That's exciting. You know, so I'm just saying, like, I'm very, very familiar with SoFi, whereas I don't have that level of familiarity with PayPal. I know that the thing with PayPal, Mark, was I feel like they were a growth company. And then I feel like they kind of went value truck mode. And I think they're trying to like claim to be growth again. But the numbers haven't quite coincided with that storyline yet. But they're like, hey, but we're buying back shares. So there's like a narrative that has yet to be sold, kind of like, it's been told and sold, but it hasn't necessarily been bought. Kind of like with SoFi, the hybrid story has been told and sold, but it hasn't necessarily been bought. Hence, the valuation is kind of stuck in limbo, right? So that's that's a thing. But dude, buying back shares is the fastest way to give shareholder value.
Yeah. Better. What do you think of Rocket Lab?
I loved it at 4, and I have 20,000 shares.
Yeah. Well, the reason I bring it up is,
I'm sorry. There's a lot of people buying it at these levels. I ain't touching it at these levels. I'm a happy owner.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I'm a happy owner at these levels, but I love me my boy Garcia. I think it's dangerous accumulating Rocket Labs at these levels. Because I think that I understand financials. I'm not Matty Money. Matty Money understands money, bro. Like, this dude knows how to read these freaking financial statements way better than I do. But I know this: Rocket Lab still needs to raise capital. That means dilution, usually. So I'm like, what's that going to look like? You know, I'm just, you know what I mean? It's just like the miners, dude. Like, I know, like, if this guy right here goes up to like $20, at some point there's probably going to be dilution. And it's going to come right back down to like 15. I know what I own, if that makes sense. Like, I know what I own. I know what kind of business they have. I know that it's capital intensive. I know what I signed up for as an investor. And so I feel like I know what I signed up for with Rocket Labs. Dude, when I bought it at $4, I thought that at some point they were going to dilute and the show was going to go back down to 2 and I was going to be able to buy more. And then it went parabolic. And I never got a chance to buy more. And I was like, okay, well, I guess this is where I landed and this is it. This is the moon for me. I ain't adding any more shares. And again, it's my lack of understanding, but it's more than that. It's more than that. And this is what you guys need to understand. I'm going to zoom in. It's my lack of interest. Sometimes you're just not interested, and that's okay. You don't have to be, dude, not everything's Tesla. I'm super interested in Tesla. Not everything is Tesla. Not everything is Riot. I'm super interested in Riot. Not everything is SoFi for you. Not everything is Palantir. I'm super interested in Palantir. And I think that that's a mistake that I used to make early on, is I used to try to force myself to be interested in every company. And sometimes, dude, I'm just not. I'm not getting paid with little spaceships. I just didn't do it. I mean, did they put a lie detector on me right now and they ask me, do you think the moon landing is real? I'm not even sure that I passed that test. Dude, just hand to God. I'm kind of 50-50 on the whole thing. Like, I don't know. I hope it did. I feel like it did. But do I really believe it like deep down in my bones? I don't know. Why? Because we haven't gone back. So that's the reason I kind of don't believe, because that happened a long time ago. So you mean to tell me in the 60s or whenever it happened, right? I think it was in the 60s, You mean to tell me I'm 49, so some 55 years later, we haven't been able to go back? Man, all the technology. I was just saying there's something that doesn't add up in the movie. Maybe it's just a logical side of my brain that when 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, I kind of take a step back. What do you think, Mark?
About the moon landing, or
lie detector, gun to your head. Is the moon landing real?
yes.
Wow, look at you. Okay, lie detector, gun to your head. Why haven't we been able to go back?
No money in it.
What about Elon Musk? We've got all the money in the world.
Well, he's going to Mars. Now, he may launch off from the moon.
But I'm just saying, why wouldn't he put our minds at ease and just be like, hey, let me just go do the moon thing for you guys, just to let y'all know that it's real.
Well, he's got to make money off of it, and right now NASA is paying his tab, and they won't even
moon, bro.
Yeah, but they won't even let him rescue those Boeing astronauts. So it's all about the money. You know, Boeing's got 2 astronauts stranded up there, and Elon's, I can launch tomorrow. He goes, no, Boeing will pick them up in March. I mean, that's something messed up with our government. So that's why I think we haven't been back, is no money in it, and maybe Trump will give Musk the go-ahead, hit the moon, and then hit Mars. We'll see. So.
Talk about trading. The moon coin, bro. The Deutsche coin, the moon coin. So anyway, that's the thing. So what do you think about these cash secured puts over here, man? How do you think how do you feel about Enphase right now? I know that Trump is not the best you know, I mean, let's just face it, I think Kamala would have been better for the solar trade.
I worked the solar trade back when I got out of the oil field, and I'm not a big fan of it. There's not a lot of money in it. I know Enphase is more than a solar panel company. They do other things. And I think you're right. Trump is, right now, they're all talking nuclear and drill here, drill baby drill. And then China's making most of our solar panels. So I think there'll be a disruption, and in 2 or 3 quarters, Enphase, the C team, will have a better idea of where it's going to go.
Yeah, I think the one thing though that I've learned is some of these companies are international though, and I think that our egos are kind of big in this country, and we just look at we think that the United States is the entire world because we have this huge gross domestic product, but then there's the world product, right? So I'm just like, dude, these companies do business in other parts of the country as well.
Other parts of the world.
Other parts of the world. And this company does as well. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, where else in the world is it doing its business? Would be the next question. Yeah. Because right now, Germany and France, especially Germany, they've realized that, you know, their solar pursuit has been very detrimental. So they're burning coal and opening their nuclear power plants. France is doing the same. You know, because they were getting their energy. Yeah, they had solar and wind, but at the end of the day, you know, because there was no sunlight and no wind, they were getting their power from Russian natural gas. And yesterday, Ukraine shut that spigot off.
Y'all want to talk Tesla? Does anybody want to come on here and talk Tesla real quickly? Because I'm curious what y'all's thoughts are on Tesla, because this is going to be the first year that Tesla has negative growth.
No, it doesn't have negative. Is it negative growth or is it slowing growth?
No, I think it's negative growth.
I know that it has negative
deliveries. or I don't know what you want to call it. They're not delivering as many as last year. There's that.
Yeah.
I watched a video with this kid, Money Best, and their CAGR is still about 49% right now,
Yeah.
which is still pretty good, right? If you look at it in that context. At some point, as they keep growing, it's going to go to probably about 30% or so.
Mm.
Uh, here's my question. Here's my question. Dude, I'm the wrong person for call credit spreads. It's like a golf shot. They've never fit my eye. Like call credit spread. I just don't like to manage them, dude. I'll do a put credit spread now and again. I sold some cash secured puts on Tesla yesterday. Let's talk about my Tesla position here in a second, and I'll show you how I'm managing. I'm trying to get to 5,000 shares of Tesla right now. I'm stuck at 4,000, and I've got covered calls that are deep underwater, but I'm okay with it because I made $375,000 on TSLL recently. So it's just like, I'm going to be in this thing for 10 years, dude. It's okay. You know what I mean? But my thing is this is the question. How long is the market going to be willing to give Tesla such an inflated, and yes, the word is inflated, valuation without FSD and Optimus and things like that? Like, what is the time frame that Tesla has? Because I feel like it's like the hour salt glass or whatever, like a ticking time bomb, if you will. Like, how long does Tesla have to deliver a freaking robot or FSD approval before the market's like, dude, we just can't do it anymore because you're essentially an automobile company with some pretty good side hustles going, but they're still just side hustles because, 90% of your revenue or whatever it is comes from selling automobiles. So I'm just saying how, because they've been awarded a very high multiple, extremely high multiple for a pretty extended period of time. And it's like, we're betting on the come. We're betting on the come. So how long can that story carry them without the numbers as good as they are? I mean, dude, again, this is my favorite company in the stock market, so I'm not shitting on Tesla. I'm team Tesla, right? But I'm just saying, for what the numbers are, let's just be objective about it for a second. Take off your freaking Tesla tattoo off your ass for a second. Let's just talk about, no, I'm just saying, dude, because people are very irrational when they talk about Tesla and Elon Musk. I'm talking about what's here in front of us right here, right now, okay? Let's just talk about what's here right now. They're selling about 2 million cars a year or whatever it is. And the energy storage business gives you an X amount and so on and so forth. It's about $110 billion a year in revenue. That's the reality, right? That's what it is. Somebody tell me what the market cap is right now for Tesla. Because at the end of the day, the numbers matter, bro. Valuations matter. I mean, that's what investing is at the end of the day. You're paying today for what you think the company's going to be worth tomorrow, a year from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. That's what investing is. Hopes and dreams.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have a good point. Human nature, people have a 10-year investment thesis, but they have a 3 to 6 month patience. And
good point.
For whatever reason, after 3 to 6 months, well, it hasn't tripled. I'm going to put my money in Apple. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I don't ascribe to that, but I try to make money off of it.
So again, the question is, how long do you think the market will award them, or at some point will they be punished? I'm just, dude, I'm just trying to be pragmatic for a little bit because I feel like the market a little correction here wouldn't be the worst thing. It could actually be very helpful for the market, and it could give people that have managed their bankrolls responsibly, as I have. I would, dude, I'm okay with a pullback here. Me personally, do I want it? No, because I don't want to see this portfolio at 8 million. It sucks. But there's a lot of money in the sidelines. I'd kind of be okay with it on one end. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't mind being able to scoop up another 2,000 shares of Tesla in the 250 range. There is a 25. Is it addition? Is EDITION? Is that how you spell addition? Right? Or no, I think they have 12 to 18 months. What do you guys think in the chat? How long does Tesla have to deliver FSD or a robot that they're like, hey, we're starting to scale this thing? Because I feel like the robot's not like really going to be a thing until like 2030. That's just me. Like really, really going to be a thing. And I'm talking about like a thing for us, because wouldn't they make that robot for like companies first? Like a robot that can like work on the assembly line and like put stamps on something, or like, like do a menial task over and over and over again, never call in sick to work, don't have to worry about him grabbing Nancy's booty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, dude, like there's a lot of stupid shit that happens at work, and why you need stupid insurances and all this other stuff. I'm talking about like, putting a nut on a car, putting a bolt on a car, like doing stuff that eventually just doing that for 2 seconds. I mean, you get tired as a human being. And this robot can do that shit for 48 hours in a row, probably, before you got to like grease something. So I'm talking about, I feel like they're going to do those types of robots first. So when would we get the robot that washes dishes and does the laundry and mows the yard and walks your dog? I mean, I don't know what the capabilities of these robots are going to be, or is your friend, or like, kind of like the Rocky movie, right? That the robot that was Polly's friend. I'm showing my age right now. You know what I'm talking about? The freaking robot that was like super cool, and it was just like your companion. So when do we have that robot as human beings? Somebody's saying 3 years? I don't think so, because I think Tesla's going to make a lot more money selling to Walmart, selling to somebody that could buy hundreds of thousands of these robots, selling to the Dollar General. Or am I just looking at this thing wrong? I don't know. Help me out. I'm not saying I have the answers here. I think about this. This is the kind of shit I think about at 3 in the morning.
Well, what has Elon said? I mean, what time has he put out? Any time limit or benchmarks, or is he? I mean, I don't follow. I don't have Tesla, so I don't follow it as deeply as you made. But
yeah, but that's the thing with Elon, bro. I mean, he's autistic. He's timelines change all the time, because I think that Elon is such a high level genius that he's trying to do like 10 things that have kind of like never been done before, that are very, very high level. And then I think they're so easy in his mind, but then the actual delivery ends up taking 2 or 3 times longer than he thought.
Yeah.
Because I think
he's a delegator.
Huh? Yeah.
He's a delegator.
Of course.
So
we have to be. I mean, there's no way that he could catch the rocket on his own. I mean, you know what I mean? He's real good at telling other smart people what to do, and then they all figure it out, and they all want to work for him because they love him. He's real good at forming like a band of brothers, and I think there's something to be said for that. So anyway, so what do you think? Let's put I don't know how to do polls, so we'll do a virtual poll. So it's right at 400, give or take. So does Tesla see 500 first, or does it see 300 first? So I'm going to be the Grinch, And I'm going to say that it sees 300 first. What say you, Mark?
Yeah, I can see it in the next 3 to 6 months seeing 300 with all that's going on. But that's both a micro and macro. I think he won't be able to deliver as fast as a lot of people want to. It's gone up incredibly, so a lot of people are gonna get a little impatient. Said, well, I'm gonna take my profit, and then he's gonna be in DC doing firing the people that try to throw him in jail. So he's gonna be on defense. For his future, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
the only reason I'm saying 300, and I don't know that it'll go to 300, but it's because I don't think the earnings are going to be that good. I think it's going to be all about the guidance. It's going to be about the call. But I feel like that's kind of been the case the last 3 or 4 earnings with Tesla. And that's why I'm saying is how long is the market going to be okay with that narrative? Like, I feel like at some point the numbers matter is all I'm saying. Like, you can only sell euphoria for so long. And dude, the numbers are good with Tesla. Don't get me wrong, the numbers are good, but are they good? But are they good to the tune of what is the market cap right now? Oh, man, where is it? I can't even. Are they good to the tune of a 1.27 trillion market cap? I mean, guys.
Well, remember, technically, Tesla is an automaker. And right now, across Western Europe and North America, the auto industry is taking a hit. There's a lot of layoffs, because sales are down. So,
Yeah, I think Tesla is an AI robotics company that makes automobiles.
No, I do too, but
yeah.
But when the revenue is coming from the sales of automobiles, and he's going to have to guide down, or you'd be smart to. But he's always been honest. I don't know if you owned his shares back in 2021.
Yes.
When he was like, yeah, my shares are way overpriced, and then they dip 20-30% and piss a lot of people off. But he understood the value of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting on 4,000 shares here, and I've got 2 positions. I've got 350 puts, and I've got 340 calls way in the distance. And I'm going to be rolling these until 2035. And I'm hoping to have at least a $600 price tag. The next roll I'm going to do for a debit. That's why I started selling cash secured puts here to start stacking up some credits. That way I can justify the debit down the road. So I picked up $5,600 yesterday, and I'm only comfortable with 10 contracts at these levels because I think the prices are kind of inflated, guys. If it comes down closer to the $300 range, then I'm going to juice this thing up to 20, maybe even 40 contracts to match the contracts that I have. That way, at that point, maybe I stop rolling. I don't have to roll those anymore because I can just take ownership of shares over here and then just start playing the game all over again. Maybe because I wanted to have 5,000 shares, so maybe I could just scoop up shares over here, let those get called away, free up that capital, and go down somewhere else. So that's the beauty of being adequately capitalized is you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Cool, we'll just build a position again right at where you're going to have your shares get called away, give or take. So I'm kind of hoping to play this game all year with Tesla, selling cash secured puts. 10 of them. If it gives me better prices, then I'll juice it up to 40 or 50 of them. But it does require a lot of capital. It's not the greatest return because you're tying up $350,000, but it's only for 2 weeks. But it does pay $5,600, and I'm up quite a bit on them, and just sold them yesterday, so it's not bad, right? So that's what's going on with Tesla. Pretty bullish on it. Let's talk about another one that you're in, or I'm not sure if you're in it, but you're familiar with it. What are your thoughts on that hit piece on Sofi yesterday?
Well, that's just a continuation of last year.
Right.
You know, they come out. It was garbage. Short. Long answer short. It was garbage, and we'll see what the earnings are. I think it'll knock it out of the park. We'll see their tech play. I guess it's the 27th of this month that if their tech play is improved, the stock will hit 22, 23. If it's just the financials, it'll go back up to 17.
So real quickly, this Mohammed Omar Mustafa says Optimus is already doing laundry. LOL. Humanoid profits will be coming in very soon. If that is true, forget everything I've said. Then if that's true, then Tesla's going to 1,000. Yeah. If that's true, I don't know that to be true. But if that is true, forget everything I've said. Tesla's going to 1,000. Because the market for a $25,000 robot is very, very high. Because you can buy that robot for $200. There's a lot of families I know will take just our little nucleus here, like my wife, you know, the in-laws, the brothers-in-law, and everything. Dude, we're probably 6 to 10 robots as a family.
Well, you got to look at laundromats.
Restaurants, you include the golf course and everything. We're probably closer to 20 robots as a family.
How much do you think a robot will sell for?
He said 25 grand.
Yeah. I think a lot of laundromats and hotels will be buying it first.
Oh, everything, dude. Waiters, elderly care. I see elderly care right here. I just think they're very useful. But then I also think of, okay, cool. What do you do with all those jobs? So I don't think it's that easy, guys. I don't think it's that easy, because what do you do with all those $10 to $12 to $15 an hour jobs? What do you do with all those people? Because they use that money, believe it or not, to live, to feed their families, to pay their rent, to put clothes on their backs. That's the heartbeat of this beautiful country that most of us are living in right now. There's a lot of people that are living paycheck to paycheck, and those checks are not that big. And so that's where I think it's real tough. It's real tough, because you can't just unemploy all of those people because this robot makes a lot of sense. Because it does make a lot of sense. And it would save a lot of dollars for small businesses. Talk about improving the bottom line for these small mom and pop businesses. But then what are you going to do to that labor force? So
what has happened?
Go ahead.
I mean, what's happened over the last 130 years? You know, I mean, remember going into McDonald's and there was 24 people. Now you go in and, you know, there's 5 kiosks and 2 people. So
yeah. I don't know. So let's talk about Sofi real quickly. This is the largest investment in the portfolio currently. So 150,000 shares, average cost is $725. I did add to this position yesterday. There's 9 strategies. So 70,000 shares are up for sale. 400 cover calls at 18 for next Friday. Couple Fridays after that, another 40,000 shares are for sale at $20. I think both of those are pretty safe right now. They just announced earnings for, I think, the 27th or 28th. Then I've got some covered calls that are underwater. Well, not yet, but they will be January of 2026. I bought these as a hedge to the downside. So instead of buying puts, I was like, well, I'll get paid to sell covered calls. So these are my sacrificial lambs. I'm totally okay with getting these shares called away. I have no intention of rolling these or anything of the sort. I want to get that position back. I want to get that portion back into cash. Why? Because I have these long calls over here that I'm going to exercise eventually. So that's effectively going to replace those shares anyway, or most of them. So I've got 200 long calls at 7, 200 long calls at 5 that at some point I'll be converting into shares. And then I've got 200 or the bulk of the position, 1,000 cover calls for sale at 20. That this is the meat and potatoes of the position. And I'm hoping to babysit these shares to 2030, 2035, and eventually sell them for $75, $100 price tag. Who knows? And then I've got the long calls that responsible for the majority of the gains in the position right now, along with the capital appreciation of the shares. Got 500 long calls at 10 for January of 2026. These are just flips. I don't think I intend. Maybe I intend on exercising these. I'm not sure yet. I'm undecided. But these are definitely just flips. I'm flipping contracts. Yeah, 500 long calls at 15. And then I bought these yesterday, 200 long calls at 20. So these are flips. These I'm undecided. And these definitely will look to roll middle to late this year. And I'm just going to keep it on the books. Hopefully I'll be able to go from 2025 and I'll just play the stock from behind. I fully expect these to be underwater. I would be very, very surprised if these are not underwater by January. So that's what's going on with SoFi in a nutshell. What do you think about that position, Mark? Do you think that I've set it up pretty decently because I'm able to sell aggressive cover calls on SoFi because I have all the protection of the long calls?
Yeah, that's a good play. So I don't know what your objective is, but you're going to have them in your portfolio for 2035, or I guess when Noto gets his bonus and rides off into the sunset, you'll be in the position to start cutting shares loose. So
yeah, so the core position is going to be 100,000 shares. That's why I have the 100,000 shares at $20. So all the long calls and everything, whatever exceeds all that, is trying to make money, right? Trying to make money, trying to realize some profits off of SoFi. Just like all these executives get paid, I want to get paid too. But I want to have a 100,000 share position in SoFi long term in this particular portfolio. 80% of my 401k is in SoFi, 20% is now in Riot. It used to be 100% in SoFi, but I shot over 20% to Riot when Riot was at like $6 and some change. I just thought the risk reward was better with Riot at that point. And SoFi was at like 16 or like 16 and some change. So I was like, it was a no-brainer. I thought about doing 50-50. But I also thought that SoFi was the safer place. I couldn't do it. So I couldn't do it. Wow. 155 people rocking with me on YouTube. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. If y'all could smash the like. That's really it. Subscribe if you want. I'm not going to go meet Kevin on you. If you could, house hacking on it. We don't do that on this channel. Sign up for my Discord on. I don't have any of that stuff. If you are a member at the $9.99 level, you do get access to the WhatsApp, my phone number, so you're able to text me during market hours, which only a handful of you guys do. I don't understand why more people don't take advantage of that. The people that screenshot me and let me know what's going on, dude, I help them out real quickly. Did they get so much value out of that? I really don't know why. It baffles me that more people don't take advantage of that. I'm here to help you. I mean, you're paying me. You know what I mean? Like use me, dude. Use me. Anyway, use me. Anyway, you got anything else, Mark? Got anything else?
No, I just want to thank you for doing what you're doing. I appreciate it. I've learned a lot over the last couple of years. There's a lot of people on YouTube who are like, hey, how to make $1 million? Pay me 10, and a lot of value out of you. So I want to wish you all the luck, and hopefully I can make it down to Miami. And until then, I've got to sign off and go fix myself some lunch. But appreciate TJ, and God bless you.
Appreciate you guys. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I'm turning 50 in February. So I have a couple of resolutions for the new year. Do you have a minute or no more?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So one is I'm doing a 300 workout. So I do 300 body weight movements, no matter what, whether push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, calf raises, whatever it is. I got to get 300 reps in daily, no matter what. In addition to doing my garage gym workouts, I do those 3 to 5 times a week. Then I totally 95% of my cursing is gone because I have aspirations of becoming a granddad one day. Saw my son this weekend. He's looking to get married in a couple of years. So I just feel like granddads shouldn't curse, unless you get like real old and grumpy, then you're allowed to. but he kind of like shot my grandpa dream, saying that they're not looking to have kids. So there's that. So I don't know. Like I had this idea that I was going to be like this big old rich granddad.
Well, you never know. You never know. Remember with Sofi, you never thought he'd ever have sex. So at least accidents happen. So
yeah, we actually have a restaurant. With the family owns a restaurant at the golf course, and they actually bring us food every day now, cooked and stuff. I cook my own breakfast though. I eat 2 to 3 eggs with turkey, no bread. But I only eat breakfast like twice a week. I try not to eat until after lunch. It just depends if I wake up like real hungry or not. But sometimes I like to do cardio in the mornings without eating. It just feels like I don't know. It feels more accomplished. But today I felt like eating a couple eggs. I'm not like starving myself or anything, but I'm drinking like a lot more water. That's like the big thing. And I'm like totally, excuse me. Hey, baby, I'm wrapping up YouTube. Give me like 2 minutes. Okay. And then the other thing.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
We got to go. So yeah. I love you, man. You take care. Be well. Bye.
Bye-bye. So then the other thing, the big change to the diet is I'm only allowing myself for 1 soda per week, just 1. So it's got to be like a football game. It's got to be like the UFC match, like the Super Bowl. It's got to be something, because like my soda habit was like absolutely getting out of hand. Sometimes I would catch myself. It could be like 3 sodas, sometimes none. Sometimes it could be as many as like 4 sodas. And I just started reading up on it. And then it's like I've always known. I mean, I used to be a personal trainer, for Pete's sake. Like I was, as I paid for most of my college, and I won 2 world championships in powerlifting. I had like 6% body fat for like 7 years of my life. So when you know a lot about something and you're not doing it, it's worse than like stupid. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things, and there's 4 pillars to fitness, right? So you have your aerobic, your anaerobic, and then you have your rest, and then you have your nutrition, and they're all important. Everybody wants to say like, oh, it's just all diet. Oh, it's your workout. It's your aerobic, your anaerobic, it's your rest. They're all important. They are all important because they all help with different facets of the game. So I want to be good at all of them. I'm real good anaerobically. Like I will wear your ass out in the weight room because that's what I love to do. But I'm trying to get good aerobically because I want to have good heart health. I want to have good gut health. That's why the diet is important. And I'm stretching. I want to have good mobility, good dexterity. As you get older, you become less flexible. So I'm working on all of it, because there's 4 pillars. Again, there's aerobic, there's anaerobic, there's diet, and then there's the rest. So I'm trying to get better at sleeping. Like I'm not good at sleeping. So, I'm trying to incorporate naps during the day, like 30 to 45 minutes, like a good power nap. So I have the recliner in the office now. So I'm just really taking my health seriously. And then I'm also spending more time with God. So that's the other thing is when I'm working out, instead of listening to music, like I'm trying to like listen to like a pastor or something like that, or like Christian music and things like that, to just get more positive energy into my life. So anyway, those are just the changes that I'm making. Anyway, TJ the Wheel Deal signing off as always. May your skies stay blue, stock green. Peace out. God bless you guys. I may have another Wheeler seminar coming at you guys this weekend, but only like an hour long, just straight meat and potatoes.